Good afternoon. This is the presentation for the University of Birmingham, MA Applied Linguistics, MA TESOL, and the TESOL Language Teaching Methodology Micro-Credential. My name is Joanne McCuaig, and I am a graduate of the program, from the MA program, and I'm also currently a PhD candidate with them as well. So first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story in terms of how I started in the program. And then I'll go into some of the specifics of applying and what the program is all about and things like that. So I first learned about the MA TESOL when I was living in Taiwan, actually way back in 2003. And I wasn't quite ready to be able to do the TESOL program then. And so then I moved back to Canada and I was teaching there. And I heard about it again because there was another couple of people in Canada who were doing this program. And I thought, that has some lasting power. And then I moved to Korea in 2007 and started looking more into doing a graduate degree. And again, I'd met more people that were doing it. And I thought, oh my goodness, 3 different countries, this program must be pretty good, because back in the day, they didn't used to advertise very much. It was mostly just word of mouth for getting students. And then now, as the program has grown, they do more advertising, hence the reason I'm here. So I'm going to do a screen share and I'm going to do tell you about the program overall. So this is the University of Birmingham, the distance learning program. One sec. Here we go. Okay, so Birmingham is part of the Red Brick University. It was established in the 1900s, and it's part of the Russell Group, which means that it's one of the top 24 UK universities, indicating that it's best in research, outstanding teaching and learning, and it has unrivaled links with the business and the public sector. Other universities include Cambridge, Oxford, King's College London, and etc. They were also named the most targeted university by the UK's top 100 graduate employers, according to the graduate market in 2021. And they're 35th in the QS World University Rankings for English language and literature. The Department of English Language and Applied Linguistics, which is what we are housed in, is renowned for corpus research, cognitive linguistics, psycholinguistics, discourse analysis, and stylistics. Currently, there are about 323 students that are in the program. So this is as of October 2021. And the map that I made indicates country of residence, not nationality. So the program, again, has been running since 1995. Back in the day, you used to have to print everything and then physically mail your papers to campus. But thank goodness for technology, because now everything can be easily accessed via computer. The majority of the students are living in Japan and South Korea. And so roughly the numbers kind of break up to, in applied linguistics, around 130, and in the TESOL program, about 190. Most of the people who are taking the program are in-service English as an additional language teachers. Some people are doing other things as well. So this MA and the goal of any graduate school, but there are some particulars here for our program. It is an AMA, meaning it's alternative modes of delivery, which include things like distance and blended, those types of words. And there's a lot of takeaway from this program. It is a rigorous program, which means that you do need to work quite hard in the program, but you do get a lot out of it at the same time. So not only are you learning the content of each of your classes, and you're learning how to write papers at the graduate level. So in terms of extensive reading and summarizing and the application of knowledge and demonstrating your skills of what you know and carrying out research projects. There's also numerous secondary skills that you gain through the knowledge and application of those skills. And although you're writing these papers, because you can work and teach at the same time, you can actually apply what it is that you're learning at the same time, which is really rewarding. So the MA TESOL and MA Applied Linguistics plus the micro-credential, which is being offered as, for right now, it's just the one course for TESOL. We're going to go through the details about Birmingham and the programs, if Birmingham is the right choice for you, and then a brief introduction to the distance PhD as well. So for the MA, it is part-time, it is 13 months. There are 5 entry points in the year, which means that you can start February 1st, April 1st, July, October, or December. If you wanted to apply, say for February, the application deadline is January 1st, because it takes about a month in order to do the turnaround time for the paperwork and whatnot. Within the program for the MA, there are 6 taught modules, and they take 4 months each. Plus, there is a 15,000 word research dissertation. If you want, you do actually have the option to go to campus for part of the program. There have been students here before that have done modules 1 through 3, so the first year of the program, and then they go to campus and then they do the 3 modules at the same time. So they take 3 classes at the same time. And then one person I know, then she went back to her home country in Ireland and then did the dissertation there. And another person, they came back to Korea and finished up their dissertation here. So the advantage of doing it on campus is it's a little bit faster. The disadvantage is, of course, you have to pay for cost of living and you have to pay to be able to get there. And you're doing 3 courses at once versus one course every 4 months. For the micro-credential, this is brand new. The first time it's going to be running the start date is January 31st, 2022. And this one it's the same module, but you get 12 weeks to do it. It can, on the video link that you can see in the profile for this conference, you can do it for over a 16-week time period if you want. And that counts as one course, so that it's the idea that a micro-credential, you do this one course and then you can kind of like trade that in order to be able to apply it to a TESOL or an applied linguistics master's degree. Okay, so there is a maximum of 6 years to complete the program. So again, if you start off with this micro-credential, it's equivalent of 1 module. And the first one they've offered is the TESOL, the language teaching methodology. If you do modules 1 through 3, and then you decide, that's enough for you, then you'd get the postgraduate certificate. If you did that and then decided, oh, actually, I think I want to go further with the program, you'd give back the certificate, and then you would do modules 4, 5, and 6, and you'd get a postgraduate diploma. If you did all 6 modules plus the dissertation, that's what's considered the actual master's degree. Okay, and so you can't get all 3. If you get the certificate but want to go on, you'd have to give the certificate back and then continue on. Okay. So the timeline for the MA degree, what happens is you would do the first 3 modules, and then in the summertime, there is a summer school. So for example, if you were to start in October, and your first paper would be due January 31st, and then May 31st, and then you'd have the summer school. And then you'd have 3 more months, and then there'd be another summer school that you can attend, and then you do the dissertation for 6 months. So you've got the 6 modules, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which are 4 months each, and you get a total of 20 credits per module. So that means to actually take the coursework and be writing the 4,000 word paper. So this 6 modules, that takes you 2 years, and then another 6 months to be able to finish up the dissertation. So you've got the 6 months to complete a research project. And this research project is the equivalent of 3 module papers in terms of credits. You can see that it's 60 credits, while these are 20 each. So here's an example of the submission deadline. So if you were to start February 1st, your first paper would be due May 31st. And this is assuming that there's no long extensions or leave of absence. If you start in July, though, you actually get 5 months for your first paper, but then each subsequent deadline is only 4 months. So you would have to plan accordingly. And then there's no breaks. Like if you wanted to take a break, you have to schedule that in for yourself, because you submit May 31st, and then June 1st, the next module starts. Okay, so those summer seminars, the summer schools that I mentioned beforehand, there's an annual 1-week residential summer school held in Seoul, and lecturers from the university come here for a week. They also then go for 1 week to Japan and hold it there as well. So generally, Korea is the first week of August, and then Japan is the second week of August. Sometimes that can change. With COVID, it didn't happen this year, but it is scheduled to occur for August 2022. You can also attend on campus if you are interested, and I believe that happens in June. So the reason to attend the summer schools, the summer seminar, is completely optional, and I avoided it the first time. I was like, whatever, I don't need this. And then I regretted it because it's really good for networking. And it's great to have support, that you're meeting other people. And I mean, these are real pictures of real people from the program, by the way. That's not just stock photos. So you get to meet people, you get to talk about the program. You're talking about, some of your successes, some of your failures, and it feels really good to be part of a community where you're also then able to meet with some of the lecturers and book one-on-one time to speak with them about either papers that you have, or questions about the program, or questions about what you can do with things. And it feels really good. It is supplementary, which means that it's free to attend if you are currently enrolled in the program. And but it's not necessary. You don't have to. It's not a requirement to be able to graduate. We also, in terms of the pre-assessment support, so there are 3 online events that we hold for students. One is an orientation, another is an essay writing workshop in terms of what are the expectations of writing at the graduate level, because many people, I think it's around, and this is just a guess, but it seems like it's around about 7 years between when most people have kind of finished their undergraduate degree and then are now taking a master's degree. And then there's also a dissertation induction. So there is a guide to independent study, because this is independent study. You are expected to be able to go through the coursework, complete it, and write the paper on your own. You are not, banished to the library for 2.5 years, though. You do get a tutor, and you are in touch with your tutor once a month. Most of the tutors have actually finished the program themselves, so they're very familiar with what the course expectations are and what the learning objectives are, and of course, how to actually research and write the papers. And then for the dissertation, you also have a dissertation supervisor who will help you to, frame your research and guide you in terms of, what some of the limitations might be, and some self-reflections of what path and what decisions you make, and where that might lead you, and how to develop your skills as a researcher and a writer overall. And then also there's courseworks there's activities that you can do that build up to the assessment. And the courses are independent of one another, but the general skills are built up and developed throughout the entire thing. For the actual assessment in the program, it is identical to the campus-based program, where you have one 4,000-word research paper per module. So it means you'll be writing 6 4,000-word papers over the course of the MA. And you pick a question that interests you. So there's things that are applicable to your current teaching context, or maybe there's a new method that you want to try, or maybe you want to investigate because you've got this textbook that you're supposed to be using in your class, and you think this doesn't work. every time I try to do these activities, they don't work, and I don't understand why. It's that part to me was really interesting, that what I was studying was directly applicable to what I was learning, which, you know, can be different if you've got a different type of part-time job that doesn't line up with what your current employment status is. So you do the research that's based on what interests you and what your context is and how it's directly applicable. That's again, to me, that was one of the biggest selling points of this program, was that I got to really pick what was important to me and what I needed to learn and what I could apply given my context. And so then again, you're learning about the content of the program, how to conduct research, and then how to do writing at the graduate level overall. There's very detailed feedback that you get for each of your papers. So there you get comments on the overall quality of the work, suggestions for how to review and how to improve, and where you should go with your skills overall. The teaching fellows, so the tutors, are the markers for the MA papers, and the micro-credential markers are campus-based. You get to review with your tutor for the MA program, and then you can set an improvement plan overall for the next paper. And then this helps to improve your skills overall for the dissertation, right? The 6 papers, again, you're learning the content and you're also practicing your research and writing skills, because, you know, that dissertation, that's the big time to shine and to show your skills overall. So some of the current courses for the MA distance learning, there's lots actually, and which is quite exciting. Obviously, if you go to campus, there are more based on campus, just because it takes a really long time to make a course online. I mean, even as most people at this conference will know, in terms of making videos and preparing content and whatnot, it's time intensive. So for these ones right now, we've got Lexis, which is in terms of words and vocabulary and whatnot. Sociolinguistics, discourse analysis, corpus linguistics, which is one of the really big ones that Birmingham is known for, English language teaching management, some functional grammar, which is different from pedagogic grammar, language and new media. So that's really getting into analyzing what's online, you know, what is there. Psycholinguistics, which is a new module that just came out not too long ago, actually. Second language acquisition, which is very important, obviously, for the TESOL folks. Syllabus and material design, teaching language to young learners, language teaching methodology, language testing, and multimodal communication. So there is a lot to offer, and some of the courses are set and required in order to complete the degree, but you do get to choose some of your options as well. Okay, so for the micro-credential, again, this is a new program that is coming out. The first run of it begins January 31st, and it's around 8 hours per week for the 12-week session. This is in conjunction with FutureLearn. So if you've seen FutureLearn before, you kind of know they have a fairly standard setup of how the courses go, where there's videos, and then there's readings, and then there's links, and then there's quizzes. Yeah, obviously I've not seen it yet because it's brand new, so I've not really been a part of it. And then you can see the cost, it currently is £750. For the MA TESOL and MA Applied Linguistics. So although, remember, there are 5 different start dates for the program, right? February, April, July, October, and December. The fees change after, so from October 21st to July 2022, the fee is £1,140 per module. So for 6 modules, that's £6,840, plus you've got the dissertation, which is the equivalent of 3 modules. So currently, and this is, I mean, again, remember, inflation means that the fees change and increase, and well, yeah, inflation and then the exchange rate as well. So the total roughly in Korean won is about 16.5 million Korean won. Again, it'll change. That's not the exact price for the entire thing. because, inflation and exchange rate differences and whatnot. So the time commitment for the MA is around maybe 12 hours per week, depending on you as a learner, right? If you're really familiar with the topic, obviously you'll be able to get through some of the material quicker than someone who's learning something for the first time. Okay, so to be able to apply for these programs, you need to have a good honors degree or an overseas equivalent. You need to include your current and or previous employment on your application. So you should have been teaching, particularly for TESOL, you should have been teaching for at least 1 year, if not maybe 2. You need to have a current resume in there, and then you also need to fill in any other relevant sections that might be important. So if you have any other academic credentials, so for example, if you've taken a CELTA or something like that, that's important to include as well. You also need a personal statement, like your intent. Why is it that you want to be able to do this program? And then if you require for language requirements, it's IELTS 6.5 for all of bands. Okay, so then is this the right choice for you? So one thing that I really liked was that I was able to work and study at the same time, right? I had the flexibility to study when and where was convenient for me. And then I had the ability, again, like I've said, to apply new skills immediately in my classroom, which that felt really good, right? To be able to learn it and use it right away. As previously introduced, it is an accredited school and it is a respected program. And it is rigorous, which means it's challenging, and it's a good thing to be challenged. And that helps to maintain the rigorousness of it. So you do get a personal tutor, so someone who you can be in contact with and to ask questions to, along with the summer sessions or the summer school. And from your dissertation, you're really learning how to research. The program is teaching the skills overall, but it's really teaching also about writing and research. So if you're considering a PhD, then this is one of the good programs, because if you don't have substantial writing experience, a PhD would be quite challenging, I think, overall. And then you also, I mean, from your papers, you have the ability to have information and the skills and the confidence to be able to present at conferences like this. So the distance PhD, so this is what I'm doing. I'm doing the sandwich program, or the traditional program, which is an 80,000 word thesis. So, and then the other one that they have is called the modular PhD, which would be 3 modules, so 3 separate papers that you'd be writing. So the first is about 12,000 words, second is 20,000, and then the final thesis would be 50,000. And you kind of have to write kind of linkages in order to connect those 3 papers together in one. So they would all be in terms of like similar topics. So you would identify and refine a thesis topic in consultation with your supervisor, and then you'd send drafts of the various chapters for comment as you work throughout the program. For the PhD in English language and applied linguistics, distance learning. I keep saying distance learning because the application and the deadlines and things like that and the fees are different if you're campus based. So there's 2 start dates. July 1st is the deadline if you want to start in September. And if you wanted to start in January, I believe it would be November when you would need to submit your documents and whatnot. So you need to have a detailed research proposal. This is what's different than maybe Canadian or American programs, is you need to know what it is that you're researching before you even begin. Which means you need to know what your topic is, what the relevancy is, where you might be getting your data from, and how you might be able to analyze it as well. So you don't take courses with this PhD because it's a research PhD. It's not a taught PhD. For the application, you do need 2 references and also a personal statement. So current tuition fees for part-time students is £10,620 for a part-time student. And then for the 2022-2023 academic year, part-time, it'll go up to £11,160 per year. Okay. So the principal areas of PhD supervision are applied linguistics and second language acquisition. Again, corpus linguistics, because the university is quite famous for it. Discourse analysis and stylistics. There is also sign language and gesture, which is a new area to the university that is growing a fair bit. There's cognitive linguistics and psycholinguistics, iconicity and figurative language, sociolinguistics and language variation and change, and quantitative linguistics and data visualization. So there's a lot of choice and there's a lot of freedom within this type of PhD. This is what I really like about this program, is that you are coming up with the idea and they are helping to guide you in order to make your research successful. But it is up to you as the researcher. And then I was asked if I could include the Easter egg. So Easter egg number 7 is inside out. And that's it for me for today. If you do have questions on the KOTESOL website, you can see our banner ads and you can see our advertisements in the monthly emails. And also there is additional information and links offered on the page for this conference. Okay. Thank you so much and have a great day.